afternoon, everybody. Yo, we are back at it again for another amazing conversation. I always say I'm super excited about the topic.
Woohoo! that was so fake.
No, it was not. I felt the energy. I felt it. Yeah. We should get like one of those bullhorns. That'd be, oh my God, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Loud but fun, right?
Oh, nah,
So
'cause
as you
my
guys are
daughter will
rolling
find that.
in,
My daughter
yeah.
will find that.
Oh, she would, right?
Nah.
Oh, my kids too. Or whistle. Like when they be having those whistle toys from school, I'd be like, no, give me that. I don't know why the school give them those whistles. Oh, yes.
I might get her a whistle.
Are you sure?
That might be a mistake.
That'd be a huge mistake because she'll never stop blowing that whistle. Because don't need no batteries, don't need, normally
Right. All it needs is breath.
Parents
Imagine get her a whistle. She'd be
and then when she's not blowing the whistle, you're like, hey, what's she okay over there?
Right.
Did she fall down? God forbid. Yes, don't start that. It's always like noisy toys. Noisy toys are not good for me. So hello, everybody. If you're on live right now, go ahead and put something in the chat. We want to make sure our comments are working early on. And we're super excited, as always, for each and every one of you to join us, especially our replay viewers. So if you're watching this on a replay, go ahead and type in hashtag replay. All right. So I'm going to start off with a question, Meiyoko. Ask the audience a question. Type in one if you're feeling stuck, right? It's May 1st. It is May.
Oh, it's officially 6 months. 6 months in.
And I want to y'all, some of y'all who are watching, I don't think y'all really excited about May. I'm looking on my social media. I'm not looking at no post that's like, hey, it's May, it's spring. I'm like, what's the tea? What's going on? Y'all, those of y'all who are watching, are you excited about May? Yes or no? Yes or no? I don't know, Meiyoko. Are you excited about May?
Am I excited about May? I mean, the weather gets nice.
Yes.
The weather gets nicer. I mean, my allergies though.
Oh, yes.
It's allergy season. So, yes, but you know what? With that, in hindsight, I got to do better with. There's internal things you can actually do to help with allergies and all that other stuff. So, but I got to do a lot better with that. But my allergies this year, man,
they're bad.
Them allergies are allergying. Yeah.
Yes. I know here in New York, they put these brand new trees out. Like they planted them like a month ago and now they're starting to bloom. That is everyone on my street is complaining because again, that's something about them trees. The allergies are just coming through.
It's different because there's people that I know that don't have allergies that are getting that are reaction. So it's something. We don't know what's going on in the atmosphere.
We don't know what's
it's going like on. If you're not excited about May, you don't know what's. It's probably because you don't know what's going on in your brand.
Ooh, are you want to hit him? You gonna put the hammer down that early in the
live? You don't know what's going on in your brand.
That part. I had a conversation with somebody earlier, and right when they hopped on the Zoom call, I'm like, "Are you okay? Aren't you? It's May." I don't know, y'all, but I'm excited. Y'all know that's this season is my favorite season out of the whole year. I just love spring. I love May. My words for May is faith and focus. Okay. And I'm super excited about May. And
the flowers bloom. The flowers bloom. The weather's nicer. People are happier, because it's the first sense of actually that good weather and stuff. But I mean, if your brand hasn't changed, I mean, where's the excitement in that? If you don't see any evolving, we see the seasons evolve, so we get excited. But if your brand is not evolving, then you're asking people, are they excited about May? But
you're not excited.
If it's more of the same, what are you going to be excited about?
And your audience right now has tons of challenges and problems that those of you who are watching have a product or service that you can solve. But if you're not excited, if you're not excited about your brand, or you don't like what Meiyoko said, you don't know where your brand is at, you're not going to reach those people.
Right. So that's the question. All right. So this live stream is about being stuck, or you think you're stuck, right? Yep. We use the word stuck, and we have this. It's all self-defeating word, and it's just like, oh, I can't go anywhere. But are you really stuck? Are you really stuck? What's going on with your brand? Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at the title, you're not stuck. You're either unprepared, your positioning is off,
Mm-hmm.
or you're procrastinating.
That's right. That's
Which one
right.
is it? Ooh, which one is it? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it all three?
Yep. And we're going to cover all three of those today. Let's go to the first one. How are
How
you
are you?
positioned? Right?
How are you positioned? All right.
Everything is about positioning. The planet
Everything.
positions
Everything.
the
Everything.
mark. You know, even when you look at now that we're about to approach the holiday season, a lot of these brands and stores and brick and mortar, they're in position.
Right. Right. And you can't be positioned correctly without preparation. That's why preparation is in there. So look at positioning from this perspective, right? We see certain advertisement by certain companies certain times of year, right? Whether it be Christmas, whether it be Thanksgiving, whether it be New Year's, whether it be for birthdays, whether it's Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming up. You'll start to see different advertisements. What they are doing is they are positioning themselves for the consumer for particular special occasions. Why? Because these are times where people are happier and people like to spend money. People spend money and they purchase products. So, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that has a signature brand, you are constantly positioning yourself, constantly with your content, with your videos, with your offer, how you market. All those things are forms of positioning. So, how are you seen to your audience? How are you being seen? How are you showing up? So, that's what positioning is. Don't get caught on the word positioning. All positioning is how are you being represented? How are you representing yourself? What steps are you taking throughout the course of the year to say, hey, you know what? This is coming up. I want to represent myself in this particular way because my audience needs me to show up in this way. Are you showing up for them? How are you positioning yourself in your signature brand? Because that makes all the difference in the world. What do you think? What do you think, Leticia?
I agree 100%. It's that, you know, I used to play chess. I used to be on the chess club when I was in high school, got tons of trophies, all that. And that has a lot to do being strategic, and part of your strategy is positioning. You know, you can have the best strategy. You can have all the time in the world. You can even have tons of money to run ads. You know, how many people run ads, you know, spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month and they're not getting anywhere. And they blame it on the fact that on the ads or on social media. And it's all about how are you positioned,
Right, right,
right? In
right.
the minds of your audience. How do you want to show up to the world? How are you placing your content and the intent of your content, right? How are
Mhm.
you positioned? What is your personal positioning? I don't know. That just popped in my head. Your personal brand positioning. All that is very much so important because that ties into everything else. That's how everything else is going to work. Your emails, your text messaging, your ads, all the things is outside of that bubble. But the foundation is your positioning,
Right,
right? Once
right,
you're positioned right, when that person is ready to work with you, or when that person is ready to follow you, because they always want to follow you first before they decide on whether or not they're going to work with you, it happens in a smooth process. For certain people, and they may take action fast, and other people may take some time. But positioning is so important. We just show up. You just can't just get up and show up. And that's great to show up. I'm not telling you guys not to show up because people like some people like would be like, oh well, I'm not positioned right, so I'm not going to show up. No, get the plan you need to get so that way
right,
you can be positioned properly, effectively, and you're
right,
not sitting out here spinning wheels. I see
right.
so many people that are out there doing reels, going live, and all these things, and I still don't know an idea of what exactly that you do, and you're missing the mark. I don't care how professional you show up with the suits, the ties,
Mhm.
the animations, and all that. Those things are great, but how are you positioned? You don't want people to show up and be confused about what you do or what your intention is.
Hmm.
People may have an idea of what you do, but what is your intention? I get it. You coach women through domestic violence, but what is your intention? How does that help me? Even though I may be going through the same thing, How does that help me? How are you going to help me and get me out of the
Right.
situation? Or are you just sharing those stories and experiences and that's it? What is your plan? What is your position to help me? Yeah.
Right. Yep. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what position is all about.
Right.
Not only how are you showing up and how you representing yourself to your
Mm-hmm.
ideal audience,
Right.
what is it that you're going to do for them? All
Right.
of that is positioning.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do for me? What type of experience do you have? Where's your expertise at?
Right.
What's your story? Where are you headed?
Right.
What journey are you headed on?
Right.
Some things about this is all positioning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we focus a lot of times, me and Leticia, this is one of the parts that we focus the most on.
We talk about
This
that
sets the
all the
foundation.
time.
It sets the foundation for everything.
Right.
If your
Right.
positioning is off, your offer, don't even worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Logos, all those fancy colors, all that stuff. Don't even worry about that.
Don't even worry about that.
If you're not clear on your positioning and how you need to show up for your audience, none of that stuff matters.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And when you're out there, and I get asked this all the time, when people reach out to you, they reach out a lot of times because they'll see your brand and they know how what you do can be well positioned in what they have going on. But if you're not getting those type of conversations, on a consistent basis, you got to ask yourself, how is it when people out there want to offer me opportunities, why am I looked over?
Right.
And you may be better than the people that show up on them stages, right? But it's not clear. It's not clear. I see some great people online. I've actually been coached by some of them, and I look at them now and I'm like, when is that pivot of positioning going to happen? And that's something that Meiyoko and I talk about all the time. I'm talking about upwards until late into the night, just talking about a lot of that part is how we're going to show up, how we're going to, so people can identify us in the appropriate way. And you're always going to evolve your positioning. Where my positioning was, before I left my corporate job is way different than it is now because I had to evolve, I had to be to elevate from wherever I was yesterday to today. So you got to be flexible too, I find, Meiyoko, with your positioning as well. Especially when you want to work with more high level people, who are going to pay you upwards of 25K, 30K, 100K for what your signature program is, all those things, because that's important. Their positioning at that level is very important.
Sure.
Very
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
Because you got to have the price mark and the value that you're going to give, and it has to be clear, and it's a different type of positioning for those level of people versus the ones who are going to pay you $20, $297 or whatever. Way different.
Right.
Still same amount of work, right?
Same amount of work,
but the positioning is different.
Right. That's a good topic for another day. Pricing.
Yes.
So I guess to kind of sum up this first part.
Yeah.
Positioning changes. Positioning can change, but it's how you represent yourself. For example, when COVID hit, Zoom wasn't even a factor. Zoom was something that I had. every now and then you would see people pop on Zoom.
Yep.
Zoom, COVID happens, Zoom becomes a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? They positioned themselves for the marketplace.
Right.
Because they saw the need, because we weren't allowed to go anywhere. People were stuck inside.
Right.
So families communicated via this platform that we call
That's
Zoom.
Right. Have family reunions on here, on Zoom.
But they position themselves for that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Positioning yourself the right way creates more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And with positioning, that means you're making preparation. Lack of preparation means lack of positioning.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of positioning means lack of opportunities. Lack of opportunities means lack of opportunities for you to sell or to present your product or your offer.
Correct.
Lack of opportunity to do that means lack of income. Lack of income, no business.
That's right. That's right. How many people back then I was thinking that panicked instead of focused on their positioning? Zoom could have, just using Zoom as an example, because you mentioned Zoom, is they could have panicked. Because obviously, I believe, even though they were getting more people subscribing, there was a lot of people that weren't paying because they couldn't afford it at that time. But they definitely pivoted. Instead of panicking, they pivoted. They've added on way more features that we did not have back then, and they even raised their prices.
Right. I was doing more business coaching then, specifically on
Yeah, correct.
content creation and offer creation.
Mm-hmm.
And when the pandemic hit, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm not making any money." I was still doing over 10K a month
Yeah,
right in the
yeah,
pandemic.
yeah, yeah.
Because that was a time where I positioned myself because I knew people
Right,
at that time were looking to transition into something else
right,
because some of them had no choice.
right.
And but the thing about it is their expertise didn't leave the job. The job left
Mm-hmm.
them, their expertise stayed with them.
It stayed with
So
them.
it created
It
an
stayed with them.
opportunity for me to show other people how to take their expertise,
Right.
and create a course or create some type of system where they can actually
Mm-hmm.
generate revenue.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that particular aspect of it came into play.
Right.
I wasn't doing signature brands pretty much at the time,
Correct.
but now I've tied all that together. And I say that you have to position yourself. And like you said, sometimes you pivot
You pivot.
to what
Mm-hmm.
the marketplace or what your audience needs. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to know how to do that.
Yeah.
What we got next?
Yep, let's go. We could spend a whole hour just
On
talking about
positioning.
that. But now, speaking of positioning,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times what keeps people from positioning correctly is procrastination. You want things to be perfect. You think
Mm-hmm.
positioning means perfection, and it
Mm-hmm.
does not.
Mm-hmm.
Positioning does not mean perfection. Positioning has a lot to do with preparation. Are you prepared? Right? Are you prepared to position yourself the right way? Or are you just procrastinating? Some of us try to be overly prepared, where we're still preparing, and we're not doing anything at all. We're just preparing.
Preparing to be prepared.
Yes, preparing. Some of y'all are overly prepared. You're prepared enough. Get out there, do what you have to do, then become prepared at that next level. But what do you
If
have
you're
to say about
planning to plan, type of 1 in the chat.
planning to plan? Go ahead and type one in the chat.
Type
If
in
you're
1 in the chat. See how
yes,
many people
I
type
like
1 in
that.
that. But no, seriously, I
Yep.
think a lot of people in my experiences, and I've done it, I've been guilty of it in
Same
times
here.
past. You'll say, "Oh, I'm working on this system," or I haven't figured out all the kinks yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of it is, at the time, you're just scared.
Mm-hmm.
You're just scared to actually put it out there or to launch something.
Right.
And that's a convenient way to prove to your mind, I'm doing something.
Something.
I'm making some type of effort, but it's not the effort that you need to be making.
Mm.
It's like that age-old saying, the one thing that you're afraid of is the thing that you should be doing. It's the
That's
same
right.
thing when you're talking about your personal brand and you're putting yourself out there. So a lot of people are procrastinating. They're
Mm-hmm.
not preparing. They're trying to convince themselves that they're planning and they're in the
Mm-hmm.
planning stage. Let me tell you something. It does not take you 30 days to produce one piece of social media content.
Mm-mm. No, it should not.
It doesn't
It
even
should
take
not.
you 3 days.
Right.
It shouldn't even take you 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't even take you 5 hours.
That's right.
Literally, I can wake up in the morning and say, hey, you know what? Being yourself is one of the most refreshing things in the world.
Mm.
And it's part of having a successful brand. Just be
I love
yourself,
that.
everybody. And I can just put that in Facebook right now.
Yes, just be
That's
yourself.
content.
Yes.
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
So it's overthinking that and figuring out you have to plan. Hey, Treese, what's up? And trying to figure it out and over planning for no reason at all. And so now your planning goes into the realm of procrastination. You just procrastinating at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If I ask you this week, if I were to ask Leticia, I'm gonna put us on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to ask Leticia, what do you got going on for the weekend? We do this periodically.
Yep,
like,
all the time.
throughout the week. And she'll say, hey, you know what? I'm trying to put this out. I got to post this content. I got to pick up my kids, whatever it is. We have regular conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that she wanted to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As a business partner, as accountability partner, I'm going to ask her the following week. Right?
Yep.
And if she says something else and she gives me that same reason why she hasn't completed it, right?
Right.
Now, is it really preparation, or she's preparing to do it, or is it procrastination? And I'll call her on it and she'll call me on it. Like, okay, all right.
Absolutely.
You said you were planning to do this 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Now it comes into procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be deceived by what you think is preparation.
Correct.
and planning when you're really procrastinating.
Correct. Correct.
You're not really stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even planning at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You are
Mm-hmm.
procrastinating and you know
Mm-hmm.
it. And you know
Mm-hmm.
it. I knew it. She knew it. Anybody knows deep down inside when you're procrastinating, it just
That's right.
feels better. It feels better and it sounds better to say I'm planning to do this. I haven't done
Right.
this yet.
Yet. Yep.
I'm still working on it.
Right. Right.
No,
Right.
what you're saying is I'm comfortable. I
Yeah.
don't want to take the chance. I don't want to put myself out there.
Correct.
But that's where the opportunity is. That's where the money is. And that's where you need to be to help the people that need you the most.
That's right. How many people, when they get called out on that level, because not everybody's ready for that level of accountability too, or they don't want to be ready. I find, and I was on a call last week about that when it was a person that said the same thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And they're
Mhm.
planning, right? But when they get called out and say, wait a minute, you said the same thing this Monday that you did last Monday. And then they get upset and offended. It's like, what do you want me to do? It's like you gotta having that level of accountability is constructive because sometimes we don't realize we're doing it until somebody points it out,
Right.
right?
Oh,
Somebody points it out. So I love that because we even mentioned that in the tour, how when people come to the tour, you're just not going to come that day and that's it. Whatever you wrote down, whatever you want to put in place, you're going to get that follow up from Meiyoko and I and say, hey,
right.
it's been a week now after the tour. You said that now your timeline said this is what you're going to get done. What's going on? Right? It is all meant to move you forward. And nobody does that. Let me just say that. And let me, Miyoko and I both know this. How many of y'all type into if you went to a conference or even a retreat and you spend tons of money? Retreats ain't cheap,
Not cheap.
right? You ain't getting in that room unless you spend at least like what, $5,000 these days, right? And you went there, you stayed for that week, but then after you got silence.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you went there, you cried, you laughed, you had a great time, great food, great music, great alcohol, whatever. But when you land back home, it's like, okay, you're on your own now. Bye.
Yep.
And that's not hand holding. Accountability is not, I want to make it clear. Because a lot of people think accountability means I'm holding
Yes.
your
Talk
hand.
about it. Talk about that, please.
It's not hand holding. No, that's not hand holding is not, in my opinion, is not good unless
It's
you're a
not.
child.
It's
Unless
not.
you're a child, you like, my son, my daughter, whatever, that's different. But if you're in business, accountability is not hand holding. Because sometimes when we do the hand holding, then when we get hard on somebody, like, well, what happened? I thought we were, because this boy over here, he says a lot of things I don't want to hear. And he knows that. He knows what I'm like, okay. I don't want to hear that because now you're confronting me. But then once you think about it, it's all coming from a good place. And we all need that in business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's there is no growth without accountability, period.
None.
So I want everybody to understand either you're going to be accountable for yourself and your actions and make a change, or having someone else that you respect, that you hold in high regard, to hold you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, accountability has to be set. Otherwise, you're not doing nothing. You're not going to do anything. You're going to stay in your comfort zone. You're going to continue to say that you're planning to do something. I'm going to talk to you 5 months later and you're going to be planning to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already
Mm-hmm.
going to know you're procrastinating. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all. You have to take accountability. And sometimes accountability stings.
Yeah, it does.
It stings. Listen, in your brand, in your life, wherever you're at, you are exactly there because the decisions and the behaviors have led you there.
That's right.
That's hard to swallow for some people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to swallow for me, but it is the reality. The good thing about it is that you develop some skills, some experiences, and things that you can actually take with you, a la your personal brand, your story, your content that you can utilize to help yourself and to help other people.
Correct. I love that. I really love that because it puts everything to perspective. And those of you who are watching, y'all quiet today, but it's okay. Y'all thinking this is a hard topic, but type in 1 if you feel like you've been procrastinating since the beginning of this year. Type in 2 if you feel like you've been in preparation. And like we said, both needs to be fixed because you could be in preparation but be trying to be over prepared, and you could be procrastinating, and you got everything laid out, but you're not moving forward with anything.
Also, why are you procrastinating? Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Is it fear? Are you
Mm-hmm.
afraid of something?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid of something? Are you afraid people are going to look at you a particular way? Are you so concerned with what everybody thinks? You're
Mm-hmm.
afraid to share something, or you're afraid to do something that's going to grow your brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to allow people to know more about you, to connect with you on a deeper level. Or do
Right.
you think something? Is there a belief about yourself?
That's right.
And the
Right.
reason why I'm saying this stuff, because I procrastinated a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a belief that I had about myself that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And it was based on someone else's statement to me in regards to being a coach and things like that. And I'll be very transparent.
I'm about to do.
The statement was,
Mm-hmm.
I was going through some things in my own life. We're human beings, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Some people have this perception that coaches are perfect. We don't have our own issues of life and we don't go through things. So the statement that was made years ago was, you're a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going through particular things in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about it and I said, man, they're right.
Mm-hmm.
I am a coach. Maybe I shouldn't be going through this. Maybe I shouldn't be coaching people right now.
Right.
And here's what happened. I want everybody to pay close attention. I point a lot. I get this from my dad.
God
I
rest
want
his.
people to pay attention to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped posting
Mm-hmm.
for
Yes,
over
you
a
did.
year. For over a year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Based on something someone said to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually started to believe it. I stopped posting for a year. So that means at that time I lost income. I lost momentum with my brand.
Mm-hmm.
I started questioning things about myself and about even the whole coaching aspect of everything that I was doing.
Yes, you did.
All because somebody said something to
Mm-hmm.
me and I actually started to believe it.
Mm. Mm.
I'm asking you, what limiting belief or belief that you have that someone may have given you,
Right.
or that you've developed yourself, that is causing you to procrastinate?
We
Something to
got
think about.
it is. It is. Jamie said 1 and 2 for her. She said, I'm afraid of rejection and failure.
All right. So let's talk about it. Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
it.
it.
Because the difference between us and the other personal branding people, they don't talk about stuff like this.
No, they don't.
But this is very important to your brand.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you are afraid of rejection and failure, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to comment below, what is rejection?
Mm.
Tell me what rejection is.
I know where you're going.
Tell me what rejection is.
All of y'all who are watching who have the same, and thank you, Jamie,
Matter of
so much for
fact,
being
yeah,
transparent.
type below what you think rejection is.
What do you think rejection is?
Tell me what rejection and failure is in the comment section, please.
Mm-hmm. What is
I
that?
want to know from everybody. There's 6 people watching right now. I see you.
Yeah.
What is rejection and failure?
Yep. Put in the chat because you got to know what
We're
that
gonna start
is.
getting y'all more interactive now.
Yes. Yes.
What is rejection and failure?
We want to solve some problems today, boys. So y'all put that in the chat because you gotta put it out there. It's bigger than just a word, or even a feeling. Like, what is that to you? What is that to you? Definitely share it. Definitely share it. I know for me, my procrastination was distraction. And that's something I got to work on every day. Level of distraction, not distraction within myself, but things outside of the things that I can't control. That's the thing about me, is like I get distracted more often than, dealing with things I can't control. That's outside of my control. Okay. We're still waiting for y'all to comment. What is the rejection and distraction for you, Jamie? Definitely go put it in the chat for us.
Yep.
Yes.
What is rejection and what is failure? That's
What
what
is
I want to
failure?
know.
Yeah.
So while you're taking the time to actually comment, let me talk about rejection and failure a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you ready? She got it.
Okay.
She said, for me, it's being told no or being ignored when putting yourself out there.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Do you know what I want us to start doing? If we can, I don't know if StreamYard allows us to do this.
Right.
I want us to start being allowed to bring our guests on.
Yes. Yes.
To
It
allow
does.
if they want to come on
Uh-huh.
and actually have conversation, I think that would separate us from a lot of people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have people able to come on with stuff like
Uh-huh.
this. The reason why this is important, these are the things that really keep people actually stuck, right?
Mhm.
So it's being told no. So what does no mean to you, Jamie?
Mhm.
Why does being told no make you feel like you're being rejected?
Mhm.
That's what I want you to ask yourself.
Mhm.
Are you really being, and what does putting yourself out there mean? Here's the thing. If you have a signature brand, if you have an expertise, if you have an experience, if you have a gift or a skill that you can utilize to help somebody solve a problem, do you believe that there is a group of people out there that are your people? Here's the issue with your statement. You said it's being told no or being ignored when putting yourself out there. If you put yourself out there, you are going to find your people. You're trying to put yourself out there and you're not for everybody. You're not for everybody, Jamie. So why are you concerned about putting yourself out there? When you do what you're supposed to do, when your brand is together, when the right content is right, when your offer is right, you will connect to your people. So you're not really putting yourself out there. What you're doing is you're making yourself available for the people who need you. I want you to look at this completely different. You're not putting yourself out there. You're making yourself available. You see the shift? When I do my content, I'm making myself available.
I'm
I'm making
available.
myself available to you. Putting myself out there saying, "Oh man, I'm posting and I'm hoping that
Mhm.
somebody." No, I'm making myself available.
Mhm.
Because I know at some point somebody's gonna say, hey, this is what I need right here.
Right.
Can I get on a call with you? Can I work
Mhm.
with you? You're making yourself available, Jamie. That's all you're doing.
Mhm.
But you got to position yourself the right way.
That's right.
And 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 the more you position yourself and the more sure you are about what you do, the more confidence you have.
That's right.
Because you can't tell me a very confident person in what they're doing would make the statement that you're making.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out there is, I'm putting myself out there. No, you're making yourself available. Listen, I know I got what some people need. I just need to present myself a certain way because they're going to come.
Mhm.
I'm also an overthinker.
Yeah.
Are you an overthinker or are you thinking too much about the wrong things?
He's pointing to you, Jamie.
Are you an overthinker or are you thinking too much about the wrong
Wrong
things?
things.
Because if
Mm.
listen, let me ask everybody on here a question. This is so much. Let me ask everybody on here a question, right? If I am thinking all day about being successful, if I'm thinking all day about the vision that I want for my life, if I am thinking all day about all the positive and the motivational things, is anybody going to tell me that I'm overthinking?
Nope.
When do we say somebody's overthinking? I want everybody to get this now. When do we say to somebody that they're overthinking? It's always when the thinking causes a negative reaction in their life.
Mhm. Mhm. Mm.
If you're constantly meditated on the right things, thinking about it day after day, day after day, I want to make myself better. I want to make myself better in every way, spiritually, emotionally, financially. And you're just consumed with that. Is that overthinking? It's not.
Mm-mm.
So you can't say you're overthinking. You're just thinking about the wrong things too much.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
loving it.
listen, as I'm telling you guys this is helping me.
Yes, me too.
This
Me
is
too.
helping me. Because
Me
we
too.
often say overthink. Oh, we shouldn't overthink. No, we're thinking too much about the wrong things.
Wrong things. The wrong things.
There
Thinking
is
about
no
what
overthinking when it comes to overthinking about the things that are going to better ourselves.
exactly. Exactly. The wrong thing is the wrong thing is caring about what people are going to think. The wrong caring about what the wrong people are going to think about how you showing up. Caring
Right.
about the ones who say no. That's the wrong way of thinking. You
Right.
know.
So is it really overthinking or is it toxic thinking?
Mm.
Is it overthinking or is it having a limiting belief?
Mm-hmm.
And it just
Mm-hmm.
continues to keep coming and you keep thinking about it.
Exactly.
When it's the right thing and you're thinking about it, it's not overthinking.
It's not.
But when you start thinking from a place of fear, thinking from a place of lack, from
Mm-hmm.
scarcity, from all these things,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you're thinking too much about the wrong thing. That's when you start
Mm-hmm.
to use that term overthinking. Even in,
My, my, my.
even in seriously, even in relationships, right? It's just like whether it's a male or a female, when it's just like, oh my God, I just don't think this is going to work out because this is going on, that's
Mm-hmm.
going on. You know what your partner says? Baby, you overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you thinking this? Why are you thinking the worst?
Mm-hmm.
But if that same person was like, look, we're gonna do this, we're gonna open a business, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna set this up, we're gonna start working out 3 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go to church, we're gonna make
Mm-hmm.
sure everything's grounded. He ain't gonna be like, oh baby, wait a second, you overthinking. No, he's gonna be like, yo, all
Let's
right,
do
we
this.
got a
Let's do
plan.
this. Yes. Yes.
So it's not really overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're focusing way too much on things that do not benefit you in any way whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
That's when that overthinking statement comes in. It's never
Yep.
positive. Who says to the person, I dreamed about being an actor since I was a kid, and that's all I thought about. And I took the classes and I put in the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody says, man, you know, you were just really overthinking, huh? No, what they say
Nope.
is, man, you knew what you wanted to do
Exactly. You
and
did
you
it.
stay laser focused on it and you did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, Jamie, I hope this has helped you.
Mm-hmm.
I told my husband that funny. Absolutely.
Yeah. You say it to
Absolutely.
yourself. Yeah.
It's not how much you're thinking, it's what you're thinking about.
Mm. Listen.
I'm giving myself gut punches, y'all.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
I'm saying this, it's not how much you're thinking, it's what you're thinking about. So let me ask you this. Can you think too much about something that's going to benefit your life in a positive way? The answer is no. We don't think enough about the things that are going to transform our personal brand or our lives, and we think more so about the things we don't want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Jamie. I'm glad.
That we are so happy. And if it helped you as well, those of you who are watching, go ahead and type in a one in the chat and also share this out because you're probably around other people who are also overthinkers because who you are is who you in circles with, right? So that's so important. We're ready to move on to the next point, right? Which is, are you systemized?
All right, you got the look. I ain't
Right?
gonna talk a whole lot on this. Go ahead.
You can jump in whatever you want. It's fine. You know, I had a good conversation with somebody this morning, and they had everything together except for this part. Right? Except for this part. It's very important that you become that part of systemization helps you through with preparation.
Right.
It helps you to be prepared. It helps you to be positioned because some of you guys are not ready for hundreds of customers to come in just this moment in this second. Some of you are not ready to work with those high level clients who want to pay you $25,000, $30,000 for your coaching, right? Because you're not systemized appropriately. And now if you're not systemized appropriately, people are not going to stick to you because you don't have everything set up. It's almost like you've invited me to a baby shower, right? Or a business event. I get there, the chairs are not set up. There's nobody there to greet me, right? There's no food ready, nothing, right? I don't even know the address. Forget about getting there. You didn't even give me the address, right? Things like that. So you got to become prepared. How do you systemize email marketing? Right? That's the main one. Text message marketing, right? We get so stuck on all these different like systems, right? These different tools that you're paying all this, every month you're paying for. But a lot of people not even using those things, systems, Meiyoko. How many systems we purchased that we're like, hey, I'm paying for it, but I'm not using it.
I spent a bunch of money on things that I impulsively bought. One thing I will say though, sometimes they come up later on in life
Yeah.
in my business, but I may see something where it's just like, hey, you know what? I purchased it. I don't need it now. But that's something that I actually may need.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of add to what you're saying. You can't systemize nothing.
You can't systemize nothing. Absolutely. And we
Like,
talked about this before on a previous show where we talked about if you ever come a time where you're going to sell your business or maybe hire an investor, right? If you don't have this part in place, nobody's even going to be interested in investing or buying or taking your brand over anything. Because
absolutely.
if they have to go in and build it themselves, they're going to move on to somebody else.
Yep.
Right? They're going to move on to somebody else. Okay, because people always want to know what's really behind the curtain of what you have going on, what's behind all the logos and the pretty website and all that. And if you don't have that set up, then guess what? You're gonna miss out on people. Or people, and somebody mentioned this to me today. They forget that they even signed up for anything that you had going on, right? Tree said, or even a VA, somebody to help you.
You have to set your business up to where it can run without you.
Yes.
And it's just something that
Oh,
I
that's a
learned.
beautiful thing.
This is something that I've learned later on. I wish I learned this years ago, but it's better late than never.
Right.
But you want to set your business up now. Those of you that are creating your personal brands and have your businesses and things like that, set your business up now as if it was the possibility. If you wanted to sell it later, you don't have to sell it. I'm just saying, if you even wanted to sell it later, you actually could. And like Leticia's saying, you cannot do that without having a systemized process to generate leads, to make sales, and to continue to grow your business. Like you have to have a scalable business. You have to.
Yeah, and not even beyond selling it. If you're a mom, type 2 in the chat. You may want to, transfer your business over to your children. I mean, look at Johnson and Johnson.
Good point.
Before the baby boomer generation, baby boomers is the highest generation because over 72 million babies were born, from the 1940s to I think the 60s. No generation has outbeat the baby boomers. Okay. Johnson & Johnson was about to go in bankruptcy before then. And when more babies were being born, what happened? They needed baby food, right? Yep. So they became this huge company. But guess what? Now, it's in the family. Children take it over and things like that. So you maybe want to build a business to where you can keep it in the family even long after you're not even here.
Right.
So if you're always the face, the go-to and things like that, it can't be transferred over. It can't. And if you're doing everything like somebody said this morning, I'm a solopreneur. Keeps being that way.
You keep solo. Look, you keep solo all you want.
Yep.
All you want.
That doesn't work long term. Now really it's more of just a hobby. I find that those who have the solopreneurship type of hashtag, the business is more, you just want to become self-employed, which is okay. But when you're thinking long term, right? When you get to the point in your business, instead of you talking about, well, I'm a retire, like some people I know, you're going to say, hey, I'm on an island right now. And guess what? I still own such and such corporation. You may just be on the board or something, but you're not part of the decision making. I would love that. This just keep me on the board so I know what's going on. I can vote on different things, but I don't want to be part of the decision of everything, the ins and outs of all the logistics of what happens in the company, right? Yeah. So just like Jamie has a daughter, Jamie has children. You may want to hand off, hey, here you go. Here's your business. It's already set up for you.
Right.
It's
I feel like you have a long-term vision for what it
Yeah,
is that you want, especially building a brand and building a business. Like, and a system will help you get there.
correct.
Because in any business, the system infrastructure is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You have the positioning, you have the monetization, you have the packaging, you have the marketing, the branding, delivery. All those elements are the same. What's going to actually grow the business is obviously what we're talking about: your signature brand, your experience, your stories, and all those particular things.
Correct.
But what makes you attractive to other potential buyers and allows you to scale is the system itself.
Yes.
We forget oftentimes, we fall so in love with what we do and how we help people. We don't pay attention. Now, I've done this. Whoo, man, I've done this and it bit me hard.
Yeah.
You don't focus on the business.
Yes.
You don't focus on the business. And by not focusing on the business, and you're all in love with helping people, and oh, it's just great, and I'm providing all this transformation, and it's just like, but you're not building a business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to build a business, and the way you do that is by systematizing everything.
That's right.
Systemizing everything.
You got to be very good at, and this is a skill. Let me explain y'all what skills. I feel like sometimes we don't understand that word. A skill is something that you're not born with, right? None of us are born with. There's three types of skills. I want y'all to write this down. There is closing skills, people skills, and leadership skills. Those are the three skills. None of us, me, Meiyoko, those of y'all watching, none of us were born with these skills. These are skills you have to learn. So if you're not seeing income in your business right now, maybe you're not a good closer. So you got to go start reading books on closing. Go watch some YouTube videos on closing, right? If you're not a people person, people, I'm an introvert. No, you're just not a people person. Let's be honest, right? Learn more about how to be a people person. Whatever it is blocking you from approaching a person, say, hey, good morning. This is what I do. How can I help you? Whatever it is, you got to learn more about leadership. You leading a team, whether it's like a virtual team, whether it's an in-person team, whatever. Those are skills that you have to learn. So when I work with clients, especially on the system level, if you don't know how to record or jot down everything you do in your brand, so that way you can hand this off to the team and say, hey, this is what I don't want to do anymore. It's always a low level task first, right? Obviously, the low level task keeps us away from doing more high level tasks. But if you can't even articulate the lower level tasks that you want to take off your to-do list to a team of people, it's going to be kind of hard for you to say, hey, I'm ready to systemize. Because a lot of times when we're solopreneurs, we treat our businesses like our kids. We want to keep them like this, and we don't want to release it. And Teresa's on here. She knows she struggled with this with me for years. Okay. Where I could easily say, hey, Teresa, you do this. Right. But I would say, I got it. I'll take care of it. Right. Even though she's my assistant. So it's that level of consciously knowing and understanding, saying, hey, I got to in order for me to be able to walk away from my business or walk away from certain aspects of my business, I got to get to that point where I could just say, hand off things to people, individuals, right? A system is bigger than just a portal that you buy. Some people think that's what we mean by systems. No, there are certain things in your business that a bot can't do, right? Or a CRM can't do. You need a physical person to go in and do it. But if you don't know how to convey just the most simplest instructions to them, you're going to have an issue. You still need somebody there to monitor everything that goes on in your business. Because if there's certain things that's like one time Zapier wasn't working and it was an issue with the connection from the payment portal to the CRM, you need somebody to go in and fix that. That's a physical person, right? So you gotta ask yourself that question of, hey, do I struggle with leadership, closing, being a people person? And you gotta have all three of those skills, right? And if any of those that you're lacking, learn more about how to develop them. But why we don't do that sometimes? I'm gonna say this. For me, it was with that, just the example I made with Therese, that was a comfort zone issue for me. that level of systemization had to require me to step outside of my comfort zone. And for some people, that's a struggle, right? Closing. You guys, when you closing people, you gotta step outside your comfort zone. Emails are great, and y'all know I'm the email marketing queen. But there's some times where I notice, hey, so, Deborah keep opening this email over and over again, but she ain't clicking. Let me go send her a text message. Let me go send her a message on Facebook. Let me move her along. Because if she's opening out of, I send lots of emails every week. If she's opening 4 out of 5, she got to be interested in something.
Right.
Right. So we still want to keep sending an email. So it's not the email that's the issue. Why she's not moving. It's more of, does she have a question? How can I get her to move her needle? Right.
Right.
Is there an issue with the site? That has happened before too, where they click on it and there was a little issue with the payment part. But whatever that is, but if you don't reach out, right, it's not, the conversion is not going to happen.
Right.
So I always say you can have the highest click-through rate, and that's great. But if people are clicking and not converting, that's a problem.
Big problem.
Yes. Go ahead, Meiyoko. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, even with closing, people have such a negative perception of what closing is. Hey, Deanne, what's up? They have a negative perception of closing, and usually people are not purchasing for one of 3 reasons. They don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. Now, it may not be trusting you personally. They just don't trust the fact that you can actually solve the problem, whatever it is that you're presenting.
That's right.
So, like you said, it could be a question. That's it. But closing, what people don't understand, closing is a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Oh, you're having a conversation. If you ask the right questions, most people will let you know exactly what it is that they want, what they're looking for, and what gets them to move the needle forward, like you were saying.
That's right. Every day you're closing.
Every day. And
y'all don't realize that. I don't think y'all get that. Every day you are closing in your personal life.
Absolutely.
Every day. It's
my daughter closes me all the time.
Yeah, my kids too.
My daughter closes me all the time.
Yes.
We'll say something like, Daddy, you want me to have ice cream, right? Because ice cream will make me happy.
Yep.
And you love me, Daddy.
Yep.
And I'm like, she's 5 and she already knows the
math. Already gets it.
She already understands the power of female manipulation. It's so interesting. Nobody taught her this. Right. This is just something she's developed through experience. And I notice I said developed.
Yeah.
Developed it through experience.
Yeah.
So you're right. I'm closing. She's closing.
Yep.
Everybody is selling something every single day. When you step on here and you create content, what you are doing, selling is an exchange. You are exchanging value, right? And what happens is people see this particular value and say, hey, because you're exchanging value, I'm going to give you something back. I'm going to give you a follow. I'm going to give you a comment. I'm going to raise my hand because now I want to give you my money because now I want to learn how to do the things that you are presenting yourself to be an expert at. And this all goes back to systems.
Yep.
This runs smoothly when you have a system.
Yep.
I'm done. I mean, I feel like
I got it. And I want to hone in. Just last thing I want to mention is the people. Your people skills gotta increase because you can't get to the closing unless you have those people skills. And that's part of your systemization is you getting out there and knowing that the more people you have in front of your business, the more people you're actually going to help. But you got to become a people person. You can't have that fear of reaching out and connecting people. And going back to what you said earlier, using Jamie as an example, that if you enjoy what it is you're talking about, if you are talking about the right things, if you're overthinking about the right things, and you are sharing that with the world through via social media, in person, your skill, that people skills is going to increase even more. So that's all I have for y'all today.
This was a lot. This was good.
This was a great hour-long conversation. And that's what we're going to hone in on too during the tour, is those 3 skills. Again, I want to say they are skills. We all can learn them and dominate on them the more we learn how to develop each and every one of them even more, right? So again, if you haven't purchased your ticket yet for our Your Brand, Your Breakthrough Evolution Tour,
what are you waiting for?
do.
What are you
Stop
waiting
waiting.
for? This is just a taste. This is just a taste. Like the procrastination and the mindset and all that stuff. I really wanted to go a lot deeper.
Yeah.
I don't even have the time for that. I don't have the time for that. But at the tour, I'm definitely getting into that on a deeper level, because some of you listening are not where you want to be, because it may not be more so the external stuff when it comes to the branding. Maybe a lot of this.
Yeah. Diane, you need this. You better go get
Let's
your ticket.
Go, Diane.
Yes, you definitely need it. Go ahead, Meiyoko. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. That's it. Grab your tickets. One thing I can assure you, it's going to be unlike anything you've ever attended. I can assure you of that.
Yeah, so I just want to answer a couple of questions. Deborah, the date for September is the 20th. So I know you got your Georgia. You could join us in Maryland on the 20th, okay? Because I tell you guys, come to multiple locations. Whenever there's a tour, whenever there's an event where it's not just one city, there's tons of cities, pop your head into multiple places. It's great to be that local person to go to in your state or what have you, but get outside of your state. You know, I always tell people that I'm a global brand because I've spoken on stages, not just here in the US, but outside the US multiple times. You know, it's the same thing. Become that international household name. So again, if you can come to 2 cities, 3 cities, or all the cities, definitely go to the link that's going across your screen and do that. Go ahead, Meiyoko.
I'm going to tell you why. Because one, you're going to meet different people.
Yes.
You never know what connections you're actually going to meet.
Yes,
right?
yes.
The second thing is, if you think I'm going to say the same thing at every tour, city, you are sadly mistaken. I'm going to tell you. You will have some breakthroughs in the one you attend, and then you're going to hear about, oh man, Meiyoko said something, or he went over something in this tour in Texas or in Maryland or Atlanta that he didn't go over in New York. Like, why didn't he do that? It's just the way that it works. There'll be some basic foundational things, but sometimes people have questions.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
They bring out bigger breakthroughs in different areas.
Right. So, it's tailored to the people who are coming, you know, and that's what makes our tour different. You could go any other place, any other tour you've been to, any other event you've been a part of. It's the same information, same slides, same agenda, same everything. We tailor each and every single city to the people who are coming, because we really care more about what you walk away with than the same information that you're going to get at each and every spot. It's not going to be that way. We want each and every one of you to walk away with that value. And even if you attended one city and now you're attending a new one, your breakthrough may even going to increase. You got to get outside your home, y'all. I'm telling you right now. You got, yes, we have the virtual tickets, and I love that too, but we want y'all to get in the room. So you could either pay in full or you could put a deposit down. So you can say, hey, like what Deborah did. She's in Georgia. She paid for a Georgia ticket. She may say, okay, I'll put a down payment in for September. You know what I'm saying? So do that, guys, because at least you get to secure your spot.
The breakthrough is not in your backyard.
Okay? You were sitting on that. I could feel your energy. You was like,
the breakthrough is not in your backyard. I want to tell you. Listen, I want to tell you something that I did.
Somebody type that in the chat. My breakthrough is not in my backyard. I love that.
Something that I did. And you don't know me, I'm definitely a man of faith. So I asked God, I said,
yes, he is.
If you open doors for me outside of my comfort zone, wherever it is, I'll go. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, certain things started opening. So I say that to encourage you. You may think, everybody on this call, everybody watching this live stream, whether it's now or you're watching a replay, there is so much more for you, but it's not just in your backyard. You have to get out. You have billions of people in this world.
Yeah.
And at least 10,000 people have exactly what they need exactly what you have to give them. At least 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that are multimillionaires and they have 2,000 followers.
They do.
I'm telling you, at least 10,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At least 10,000.
That's right.
If Russell Brunson can become a multimillionaire on showing people how to make a potato gun.
Potato gun. Sorry.
On how to make a potato gun.
Yep.
What you're doing, you can change a life.
Gun,
making a potato gun and changing nobody's life, people.
That's right.
It may be a cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
He became a millionaire selling information on how to create a potato gun. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Exactly. So you guys are probably thinking like, nobody's interested in what I'm offering.
If potato gun.
Millions of people that were interested in building a potato. Y'all, he had books, digital courses, all on how to
potato gun.
PDFs, all on the potato gun. Y'all, that's crazy, right? That is crazy. So you may say, well, I'm not interested in a potato gun, but there's people out there, millions of people out there that is. So the fact that he did that is a great example. Yeah, your breakthrough is not in your backyard. That's right. I wrote that down too.
No.
Okay, because that's deep. That is deep.
Get out of that yard.
Get out of that yard. Okay. Yes. Yes. So Jamie, she said, I am planning to come to Maryland. Yeah, Maryland's gonna be lit. How do I get the payment plan?
We'll send you the link.
Yes, I'll see you the link right after this, so you can go ahead and put in your down payment. Y'all put in that down payment, guys. It's very important that you do that, and you can just put in that down payment, and then you're in for Maryland. You're in Maryland, September 20th.
And listen, we ain't talking. I'm just going to be 100% transparent with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking no astronomical amount of money here.
No,
we're not.
We're not.
When we discussed this, we could have charged a lot more.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that people that can get there, get there.
Get there. And then
because if you work with us and you apply what we're going to teach you, you'll work with us again.
Yeah, and that down payment is not going to be forever because there's a limit on that part itself. So get involved in that while you can. Take advantage of that while you can. It's definitely not going to be available in July, so don't wait. I know we got a lot of last minuters, right? That's going to get taken away very, very soon. We're just doing it now. In the tour doesn't start till August, but still locking your down payment before those spots fill up, okay? Because we're only going to have a certain number of those type of tickets for those of you who are interested in paying via down payment. So that's all we have for y'all today. We appreciate each and every. How many of y'all want us to show up every day? Type in one in the chat. Okay,
every day.
Just testing something out here
every day
because we literally share some great topics. Yeah,
every day.
You heard me right. Hey, Nita, thank you for hopping on.
We'll see what the people want.
Is it what y'all want? Let us know. Go ahead and type one in the chat because this is some great information. Y'all have sat and y'all thought, and we wanted so too. Meiyoko mentioned this earlier, where you guys can hop on the show with your questions, okay? With your questions, and we're able to answer it here on the live and get your needle moving. But thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll see y'all next time. We got a one here. All right, Deborah. Y'all better show up. Your ones better show up and bring some people with you. Right? All right, y'all. Till next time. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.